to share their memories and their knowledge. And it's not the end of a project. In many ways, this is the beginning of something. I mean, we're the first year of 4 years of celebrating a very tumultuous time in the history of our area, and I think it would be remiss of those of us who have knowledge and those of us who have artefacts and that not to share it. This evening's play was written by Joe Burns. Joe came down here in 1979 and he's been an integral part of the community ever since. I'd like to ask Joe up now just to share with us his interest in the gem, how it came about and how he came to write the play, and a few other little things. So Joe, would you like to come speak?
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Lorry Drama Group. I mean, that was just unbelievable. It was brilliant. I'd say that I would rather try and write a dozen stories than try and direct one the next evening. The people I really have to thank, unfortunately, they're no longer with us. Over there on the table you'll see there's 2 photographs, so there should be 3, but I couldn't get a third of the other woman. I call it the Keepers of History. And it's 3 women who knew and told me, first of all, I knew nothing about the gem. So one day, in 1987, when I was putting the focus together in the office, Mrs. Nancy McLaughlin came in with her and McAllister with a small piece of paper. And it said on the piece of paper, the gem sank off Scarborough, Christmas Day 1914. Captain James McKeegan, Hugh McKeegan, his nephew, and James McKeegan all lost. And she said, you might be able to find out something about that to do something for the focus. But it obviously took me a long time to get it together. So, but what I'm going to tell you is that them 3 women, that was Nancy McLaughlin, Maggie May McKillop, and Annie McKillop. And one by one, I went and spoke to them, and Annie let me record her, and the stories that she tells is way beyond the gem and all bits and pieces, which is really, really important. But the bit that got me is the keepers of our oral history. Whenever eventually I went to Kew in London and to the Imperial War Museum, I couldn't believe how accurate these women who kept our local history. They had it almost to a T. What they knew here in Cushendall, been told from generation to generation, was in sealed records in London, and people here in Cushendall were being told they knew that. And I think that if anybody deserves recognition, it's them 3 women, because I wouldn't have moved with the gem, I had never wrote about the gem, and maybe none of us would be here tonight. So I think Annie McKillop, Nancy McLaughlin, and Maggie May McKillop deserve a round of applause. The other person who, if not keeping history, pointed me in the right direction was Captain Paddy Blaney up at Glenann. Unfortunately, Paddy's dead too. But Paddy used to come in, I knew him through going to gigs. Paddy would come in, and I literally hadn't a clue where to start. And Paddy came in with a whole lot of phone numbers about the receiver of RACs, different Coast Guards, Merchant Seamen Unions. And he says, phone them people, but they don't know, they'll give you the numbers. So Paddy Blaney was really, really sort of like, pointed me in the right direction. They'll keep coming in and say, how far have they got? And I'd say, well, I don't do that much this week. And he said, hurry up and get on with it. You know, and he did. Paddy Blaney, like, is a really nice man and gentleman, and I really sort of miss him. And it's a long time, but Paddy was a very nice man. The other thing that I have to say, that because it is a drama, I did take some license, so I know there's a lot of people here who are related to them men who died, and I really hope you don't mind that I put words in their mouths. I was very conscious of that, and I wrote this, I didn't my writing late in the evening and into the night, and it was sometimes I had the pictures up in the bedroom in the study, and sometimes when I was writing, and I would look at them and say, sorry, of course you wouldn't have said that, and I deleted it, and I took it very seriously, and I actually think that I got to know them very well, and that was important, that I think I got to know them very well. There was a couple of lessons that I had to take. For one thing, on the gem, there was 3 men from Cushendall, all called James McNaughton, James McKeegan, and James McCambridge. I was writing this for a radio play, for Radio 4, so you can imagine how confusing that would be for people in England. There was 3 people called James, all calling each other James. So I took the liberty of changing James McCambridge to Johnny, just to make it sort of have something different. The other point that I have to tell you is Sean Higgins. John Higgins, I know it said at the start, all points, all characters are accurate. John Higgins is a composite of two people. I needed a dramatic device that I could link Glenarm School with the story of the gem. So we have Sarah McConnister married a man called Higgins, and she moved to Glenarm. That's a fact. When the gem sank, apart from the tragedy of the loss of the gem itself, there was a big confusion about 3 telegrams that came. The 2 men, there was supposed to be 14 men on the gem, but as it was said in the play, there was 2 men, and they sailed from Belfast to Liverpool, and they were going to join the gem at Most End, which is only a short distance from Liverpool. But the gem sailed a day early. It wasn't quite a convoy because the convoy system hadn't been introduced. It was more a matter of safety in numbers. But the thing is then that these men, they did join another ship. I could never, Annie McKell told me the story, but she couldn't remember their name, and I could never find out their name. So that gave me the license that I could then make the character of Sean Higgins be the dramatic device I needed between the link of Glenarm School and the gem. So I hope you forgive me for that. But that when I was telling the story, perhaps oral history wouldn't be the way I would do it, and the only way that I could do it was by writing a drama. So please I hope you forgive me for that. The last thing that I have to tell you is, whenever we knew this was going to happen, I wanted to make sure that the bell wasn't hanging on pub in Scarborough. I wanted to see could I find the bell. And I tried before, in the 90s I tried before, but this was in the days with fax machines. There was no emails. And I'd sent faxes off, and it was all very, very clear that you may get one back, you may not get one back. So just 3 weeks ago, I emailed all maritime museums and all the dive clubs up and down the east coast of Yorkshire. And I got 1 or 2 back that said something like, nobody dives the gem anymore, it's silted up, things like that. And then one morning at 9 o'clock, I got an email from a man called Peter Lassie, and he is a member of the Scarborough Binacle Club. He's only 76 now. And he sent me an email and he says, yes, I found the gem, I dived on the gem in 1986. It is broken two bits. The bow is sitting upright, 200 metres further on from the stern, which is on the side, with its boiler exposed. There's a litter bed all around it. And then he said, and I lifted the binnacle. He says the binnacle was buried in silt about 20 metres from the rack, and it was buried in silt up till there was only 2 inches of it showing. The binnacle would have been in front of the wheel here, and it was the thing the compass was in, the thing with the glass and the compass was in. So here we're steering the ship, and I've looked down into it. He says when I found it, on the top of it, there's a part that fits in it, and it's a paraffin lamp. And because there was no electric, so you lit the paraffin lamp and clicked it into the top so it illuminated the compass. He says when they found it, they thought they'd found the paraffin lamp. And they dug down and dug down. It took them 4 days. And they realised they had the whole binnacle. It's a metre high, and it was still attached to part of the deck. They had to break the bolts from the deck. It was some way from the rack. And they got it up. And it's been in their clubhouse. It's been in their clubhouse since 1986. So I phoned them up, they gave me his phone number, and I phoned them up, and I said, could you loan us this for tonight? And I asked him what the connection was and what it was all about, and I told him, and while I was on the phone, I faxed him, or not faxed him, I'll go back to the 90s. I emailed him my research while I was talking to him. I emailed him everything I had that I could, so he knew what it was. And I told him what this meant to the people here, that it was very important, and it not only is the gem, but it's sort of, it's a symbol for all the other merchant seamen who lost their life, but it was no single big disaster. It came up that in Scarborough, in the Binacle Club, half the members are also members of the Scarborough Iron Ally. And I let them know that I was an Iron Ally. And a lot of the 7 members of our local lifeboat, who are direct descendants from the men who died. So I let him know this, and he said, give me a moment or 2. And he phoned me back within 10 minutes, and he says, we have 200 racks, and we have lots of artefacts, and they're really nice artefacts. But we don't have the connection to any of them the good people in the Northampton Coast and Cushendall have. But they legally own it. All artefacts had to be registered. And he says, they're a charity, so they couldn't give it to an individual. But they said they would give it to the people of Cushendall, with Red by Lifeboat and the custodians of it. But how do we get it home? because this glass, 72 years it's laying in the seabed. 72 years after going through the explosion, broke the ship in two. So how could we get it home? We couldn't trust it to a courier. We had a meeting, and the Cushendall Development Group paid for myself and Donny Bevan to drive to Scarborough, where the Scarborough Selector Club and the Scarborough Lifeboat held an evening where I had to get up and tell them about the gem, and they told me about them lifting the gem. Next year they're going to do a film. Now that the gem means something, they're actually going to do a film off the back of the gem. But anyway, we went over and we got this wonderful artifact. Cushendall Development Group paid a lot of money for us to go over on the ferry, stay in a hotel. We got it, we came back. We said the cheapest hotel we could find. When we got it back, it was tarnished. That's it, it was tarnished. You see photographs. There's another panel should have been up there, but it was tarnished. What are we going to do? Who had the expertise to do this? We were lucky because John McLaughlin, who is also related to Captain Keegan, Jim Keegan, and Jim McLaughlin. And John, I've seen some of the stuff he's done, and John was an expert at restoring this to its former glory. So,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the gem's back.
Folks, feel free, we're just about to finish now, come up and look at this. Just in the back of this panel here, if we turn it round, you see the photographs of before and after. This thing is black. You can still see inside where the barnacles were sticking to. And Joe, as the work he has done, and John, but to secure this, the years of effort and work that Joe's put into this, I think it's a marvellous gift from the Scarborough Club. I think it's a marvellous piece of social history that 100 years after it has been in the seabed, it returns to its rightful home here. So, thank you very much for attending this evening. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope you've learned something new. I hope it prompts you to be more proactive in sharing the history of your own families and your own area with people. Thank you very much, folks.
Is that unless the City Hall falls down tomorrow, the BBC will have this on tomorrow at 8:20 on Radio Ulster, and it's going to be on Newsnight tomorrow night, this feature.
Hi, Mum. It's going to dive right into the water. Come on, no, Tony's got
There you go.
Like I said, not yet.
That's it. So it's Cushendall, Binacle, Clonmel. Just
No, it's there.
they're all down there with their thumb. Cushendall,
Yep.
Binacle, Clonmel.
Thanks very much.
We had a great time.